Okay? Uncertainty of whether or not someone loves you. The uncertainty of whether or not is it okay to doubt your faith. The uncertainty of God himself. And you're like, whoa. Chris, you're the pastor. Let me just put this down as my foundation. I firmly believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Yes, I believe in God. I believe in all that. But even at the strongest of times, we all have little doubts. Right? We all have little doubts that creep along in our minds. So, we're going to be talking about that. You may be interested to know that the first three Gospels we are told are absolutely nothing at all about Thomas. Doubting Thomas is who he's referred to a lot as. He is just a name in a list of disciples, a faceless man among the 12, and it is in John's Gospel that he emerges as a distinct personality. But even then, there's only about 155 words written about Thomas. Bishop John Shelby Spong, I know that's a kind of a weird last name, in his book, The Fourth Gospel, tells the Jewish mystic that the writer of John created Thomas as a metaphor with the unique personality of doubting. His story has entered the vocabulary of the world and is even used in common conversations. People who often doubt a lot of things or don't believe a lot of things, they're called the doubting Thomas. Okay? I think Thomas gets a bad rap. Because, I'm sorry, some of us like to think scientifically. Prove it. I don't believe you prove it. It's just like us redneck fishermen. Man, I caught me a 15-pound bass. You didn't catch it until I see a picture of it. You know what I mean? So, you almost like gotta have proof. So, Thomas was a man of, he needed to see it. All right? So, we are a lot like Thomas as well. Jesus admonished Thomas. He said, stop doubting and believe. Jesus told Thomas to believe and accept his resurrection as true, to have faith. How are y'all today?
Doing all right.
What then is faith we are supposed to have? Faith is a complete trust and confidence in something or someone. It is, from a religious standpoint, a strong belief in God or a certain doctrines based on spiritual apprehension. Rather than proof, Jesus goes on to tell Thomas, blessed are those who believe and have not seen. So, let's talk about faith real quick. When we go to sleep, we assume by faith that we will wake up, right? My little girl had a nightmare a couple of weeks ago. She said, Daddy, when I close my eyes and I go to sleep, does that mean I'm dead? And does that mean when I wake up, I'm alive again? And I'm like, no, honey, it just means that you're asleep. And she's like, but what if I go to sleep and I won't wake up? And I said, well, then you'll be with Jesus. I don't think my answer helped her because she's got a fear of dying. But still, when we go to sleep, we assume automatically that by faith we're going to wake up, right? Okay? How about this one? We kissed our loved ones goodbye, having faith that we will see them again, right? When we kiss our loved ones goodbye, we assume that we will see them again, right? That is kind of a sketchy one. Because we don't really know if we're going to see them again. We don't really know. We just have faith that we will, right? Well, I'm here to tell you right now, none of us is guaranteed tomorrow. Does that scare you? It doesn't? Good. It can be a little sketchy. Like, for me, I could be driving home tonight, listening to my hardcore rock music, and hit a deer right outside the road and die. Man, that would suck. I mean, I don't want to die. But I have no assurance. I don't know what can happen. I cannot predict the future. You're like, man, Chris, that escalated quickly. So, we plant our gardens in the fall with the faith that we will have something blossom in the spring. And most crucially, we live every day knowing at some point that we will die and that somehow it will be all right. But we can't prove it, nor can we understand what really happens. These are all the elements of having faith. But faith does not mean that we do not doubt. No, surely faith does not preclude doubt. Most people, if they are honest with themselves, will admit that they are troubled from time to time with doubts about whether they've been taught is true or not. Even St. Mother Teresa wrote in her book about the doubts. How many of y'all have ever heard of St. Teresa? Mother Teresa. Yeah, Mother Teresa is a pretty well-known saint. But this holy woman had doubts, yet her faith was strong. Doubt is defined as a feeling of uncertainty or a lack of conviction, a hesitancy to believe, not being certain about something, especially how good or true it is. So let's talk about this real quick. I'm going to sit down. Y'all name something to me that you've ever doubted. All right? I can remember when I was in 10th grade. That was 1998. Yeah, you're like, man, Chris, you're old. 1998. I can remember my dad come up to me. I had a big old giant math test. It was like a calculus test. He said, Chris, how did you do good? Did you do good on your test? And I said, I doubt it. He said, what do you mean you doubt it? I said, I don't think I did very good on my test. I doubt I did very good. There you go. Did I do well on the test? No, I didn't. I flunked it. What are some things that you've doubted? Come on. We've all doubted something before. Okay. Say what? You doubted your parents? All right. How about the old myth about Santa Claus? How many of y'all, when y'all were little, actually doubted if he was alive or real or not? We all can say that when we were little, we all had that age when Santa Claus, you found out it was really mom and dad. So, I'm sorry for those of y'all who still believe in Santa Claus. I just burst with your bubble. But, the writer Frederick Butler says this way: if you have doubts, you're either kidding yourself or asleep. Doubts are the ants in the pants of faith that keep faith alive and moving. Doubt is one of God's most effective tools for producing mighty men and women of faith. So I submit to you that being a doubting Thomas and questioning life, especially in its major events or problems, is not a bad thing. How many of you have ever doubted whether or not you're going to be successful or not? That's honest. How many of you have doubted or don't really believe that you're going to find a good job? Some of us, yes. What about this? How many of you have ever doubted if God was real? Because, is that bad to say? No. But I can tell that this is a Sprite. How can I tell that this is a Sprite? All right.
The label?
It could just be carbonated pea. I don't know. I mean, if it's carbonated pea, somebody's really well hydrated because it's not yellow. I can tell that it's a Sprite for several things. It says Sprite on the container. It's got a green lid. All right, if I open it up,
It's Sprite.
It's a Sprite chill. Oh man, it's good. Now I want everybody to take a deep breath in. you realize that you just sucked in oxygen. Now breathe it out. You just breathed out carbon dioxide. How can you tell that you breathed in oxygen? You can't.
We're still alive.
Ah, Cooper. Yes. You're still alive. But guess what? You're not just breathing in oxygen. You're also breathing in hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and dioxide. You're also breathing in nitrogen and other chemicals. But our lungs filter all that out. Yep. So, we have faith that when we're breathing, we're going to be okay, right? I can't taste the oxygen. I can't see the oxygen. I can't feel it, but I know it's there. That's how God works for a lot of us. God works like this. It's mysterious because God is all around us right now. Jesus said, when two or more meet in my name, guess what? I am there. And so is the drum set. So, we gotta have a little bit of faith.
Why does the drum set make a noise?
I don't know. Y'all cut off your phones. Y'all pay attention to me if you can. We have learned a valuable lesson from Thomas. Is that when we doubt, we gotta move beyond that doubt. Jesus told Thomas the same. He says, who believe even if they have not seen are blessed. Certain Christian doctrines and biblical stories simply seem illogical and flawed. They are confounded for all reasons. They go against much of what we know for sure, though science and experience. So what if we find ourselves with serious doubt? What should we do?
Have faith.
What if we doubt our faith? It seems like it's that easy, right? It says this, we can accept that doubt is normal and healthy for human beings. All Christians sometimes during their lives have doubts, questions, and skepticisms. That is the way God made us. God made us to ask questions, to inquire, to think, and sort things out. I have 4 children. 2 of them are really little. The moment their feet hit the floor to the moment their head hits the bed, they are all of nothing but questions. Daddy, why does hair grow? Daddy, why does my poop smell? Daddy, why is the grass green? Daddy, why do birds poop while they're flying? I mean, you get all of these questions. That is their mind forming. But guess what? Our mind is always forming, even at our age now. I'm 42 years old, and my brain is still forming. I know it's kind of scary. But the more questions we ask, the more we get to know. But see, my questions aren't, Daddy, why do my poop smell? My questions are, Jesus, how can I become closer to you? Come on in.
Just, I pass it. Shh. Everybody quiet down.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's look at this. Look at me real quick. When we have a test, what do we do?
Study? Study.
Does studying help you?
Yes.
All right. When you're trying to memorize how to spell something, what's the best way to do it? Spell it out. Oh, spell out over and over and over and over. Practice makes perfect. How many of y'all read the Bible every day?
Not really.
Some of us need to get in the Word a little bit more. When we get into the Word, we end up being a lot more well-versed and able to answer some of the questions that we may or may not have. So when we doubt, we begin to examine our
I think we
lives
must
to determine what is true, what is right, and what is good for us. It's a human process. All right, so let's look at this. You eat some cheese pizza.
Oh, I love cheese pizza.
Cheese pizza, man, that's good, especially from some of these good pizza places around here. Man, some garlic sauce, man, that sounds good.
Have you been to Fox's?
Oh, Fox's is good.
Oh.
So, we're eating some cheese pizza, and then about an hour after you eat that cheese pizza, your stomach starts going.
I find that's terrible, yeah.
Okay, that's not a good feeling, is it? Next thing you know, you're sitting on the toilet for 3 hours, and you're like, okay, maybe I just had some bad pizza. 2 days later, you eat cheese pizza again, and it does the exact same thing. You're like, man, maybe my body doesn't like cheese pizza. Then you go to the doctor and you find out that you're lactose intolerant, which means that your body is no longer able to take dairy. You find trial by experience. So, sometimes, in order to find something out, we've got to try. What if you're about to eat a new food? Some of y'all probably didn't even know you like Korean food or Indonesian food or Indian food. You don't know until you try it. You may say that you have doubts about it. My son is one of the most pickiest eaters in the world.
What?
But I would doctor something up for him, and he's like, oh man, I didn't think I was going to like this, but it's really good. He doubted until he tried it. You see, I ask questions every day. The questions for me that I ask God, sometimes I get a pretty clear answer. Sometimes God makes me think about it. You see, God speaks to us differently in all areas. So there's absolute real proof so there's real purpose for doubt in our Christian's faith. Absolutely. Doubt is what enables our faith to grow. And today's gospel passage tells us this. In the beginning of this text, Jesus has appeared to the disciples and they believed. They had to share it with the others. Thomas was not in the room when Jesus first appeared to the disciples. And when he heard about what happened, he did not believe what they were saying. Thomas had little faith in what the disciples were saying because it was frankly unbelievable. The disciples came running up to Thomas saying, Jesus is back, Jesus is back, Jesus is back, Jesus is alive. But guess what? Thomas saw Jesus killed on the cross. He probably helped take Jesus off the cross, feeling his lifeless body, and then putting him in the tomb. So when all the disciples, they got back together in a room, scared because they were being hunted down like a wild pack of dogs. They said, Thomas, we saw Jesus. Jesus is real. And he's like, no way. No way. I saw him die. I saw them nail him to a cross. I saw them break his legs and put a spear in his side. Guys, what if something like that happened to you? I hope this never happens. What if your best friend died and you saw it happen and you went to his funeral or her funeral and your buddies come back a couple days later, hey, did you see so-and-so? They're not really dead. He's alive. You'd be like, no way. No way. So Thomas wasn't necessarily in the wrong for doubting. He needed to have that proof. Thomas had little faith in what the disciples were saying because it was frankly unbelievable when he needed more proof. Jesus was dead. He had seen him be brutally tortured, murdered, and they saw his lifeless body buried in a tomb. We don't know why Thomas was not with the others when Jesus appeared, but surely he was despairing. The one in the room he had put all of his faith in was dead. Yet today, we should be glad for his doubt. For we, like Thomas, did not see Jesus appear resurrected, and our doubt is very much like his. How many of you woke up this morning and saw Jesus?